Your big
Okay.
homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
From clowning Jay-Z for supposedly copying the look of a famous gay painter to blasting him, saying his whole rise came from being Beyoncé's man, 50 Cent has never missed a shot when it comes to stirring the pot. For years, he's been on everyone's neck, throwing jabs and calling names, but now the unthinkable happened. Jay finally clapped back, and the way he did it, a rare, cold, and calculated moment caught on camera that's got the whole internet going wild. Let's break it down, because this ain't just any beef. This one's dripping with history and power. They're calling it the Super Bowl scandal that almost was. Something's been bubbling under the radar in the hip-hop streets for a while now, and most people didn't even catch the signs. Two of the biggest names in music, 50 Cent and Jay-Z, have been moving pieces in silence, playing a power game that's way bigger than the studio. This goes beyond hits, charts, or who dropped the hardest verse. It's about corporate power, billion-dollar branding, and who really runs the table when the suits show up to decide who eats and who's left outside watching from the window.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I just think,
Threatened?
yeah,
Possibly?
not even threatened. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from like our culture is competitive, man.
Right.
It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that.
What's making this even wilder is that this ain't some dusty old beef from back in the day. This is fresh. The streets are buzzing because 50 is claiming Jay straight up pulled strings behind the scenes to block him from one of the biggest stages in the world. Yeah, the Super Bowl, baby. February 13th, 2022, Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. That halftime show was supposed to be legendary. The hype was real, people. We're saying it would make history. But behind all that excitement, there was drama brewing so loud it could shake the industry. And Jay-Z's name was right in the middle of it. It was supposed to be a moment for the culture, the first time hip-hop would truly take over the Super Bowl stage, front and center, with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar all performing together like royalty. Then out of nowhere, like a ghost from the early 2000s, 50 dropped in upside down, recreating that in the club pose that made him a legend. The internet went wild, memes flying everywhere, timelines exploding, and fans calling it one of the coldest throwbacks ever. But here's where the twist hits hard. 50 says that unforgettable entrance almost never happened, and the man he blames, none other than Jay-Z. Now, let's break down the power play that's got everyone talking. Since 2019, Jay-Z's company, Roc Nation, has been in bed with the NFL, running the entire halftime show operation. That means Hov's not just performing, he's calling shots. From who gets booked, to what songs make the cut, to how the lights hit the stage. Jay's fingerprints are all over it. Basically, he decides who gets that once-in-a-lifetime moment on the biggest stage in America. No joke, that kind of power can make or break a career. And according to 50 Cent, Jay used that same power to keep him off the stage. He claims the move was intentional, cold, and calculated. Then, in December 2024, 50 pulled up on Cameron's show Come Talk to Flea and let it all spill out. He didn't hold back, dropping names and calling out the behind-the-scenes moves like he'd been waiting years to air the truth.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those those trophies came rolling in, buddy.
This was supposed to be a straight-up moment for the culture. The first time the Super Bowl halftime show really put hip-hop front and center. No sidelines, no half-steps. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar all touching that stage together like a hip-hop Mount Rushmore moment. Then boom, out of nowhere, like a blast from the early 2000s, 50 Cent drops in upside down, hitting that legendary in the club pose everybody knows by heart. The crowd lost it. Timelines exploded, memes flooded the internet, and nostalgia hit people right in the chest. That interest alone had folks saying it was one of the coldest halftime moments ever. But here's where things take a sharp left. According to 50 himself, that iconic moment was this close to getting cut completely, almost erased from history. And the name he points to as the reason? Jay-Z. That's where the whispers turn into full-blown chatter. Now peep the power dynamics, because this part really makes suburban streets and industry insiders raise an eyebrow. Since 2019, Jay-Z's company, Roc Nation, has been locked in with the NFL running the entire Super Bowl halftime show operation. That means Hive isn't just a face, he's holding the keys. Who gets picked, how the show looks, what the vision is, all of that runs through his camp. This is the kind of power that hands out career-defining moments on the most watched stage on American TV, period. One appearance can change a legacy overnight.
Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago.
And according to 50 Cent, Jay allegedly used that influence to try and keep him out the building altogether. No performance, no spotlight, no moment. That claim alone had people looking sideways at the whole situation. Then December 2024 rolls around and 50 decides he's done holding it in. He pulls up on Cameron's show Come Talk to Flea and lets everything fly. No filters, no dodging. He breaks down how Jay allegedly went straight to Dre and told him he didn't want 50 anywhere near that performance. And this is where the story flips again, because what happened next showed a level of loyalty that money can't buy. 50 made it clear that Eminem stood 10 toes down for him, a real day one bond, ride or die energy. Kind of loyalty that doesn't fold under pressure, no matter how big the room gets or who's pulling strings. That moment didn't just shake the halftime show, it exposed how deep these relationships really go. You heard it right, 50 ain't talking about creative differences or some boring scheduling excuse. Nah, he's straight up accusing Jay-Z of using his corporate position to intentionally block another artist's moment. That's a heavy claim. And when you really sit with it, when you really let it marinate, it starts sounding way bigger than two rappers who don't rock with each other like that anymore. This ain't playground tension. This is about power, leverage, and what happens when old street beef gets repackaged and played out in luxury offices with contracts and signatures. And just when you think that's wild enough, the plot gets even thicker, because 50 also dropped another bomb that shook the whole story. He said Eminem allegedly stepped in and gave the NFL a straight ultimatum. Either 50 performs or Eminem doesn't touch that stage. No middle ground, no negotiations. Tony Yayo, 50's Day One G-Unit brother, backed this up during his sit-down with DJ Vlad, confirming that this version of events was very real. That's not internet chatter, that's inner circle talk.
When it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for?
Now really think about what that means. One of the most hyped Super Bowl halftime shows in history almost lost Eminem, one of the biggest global draws, a certified legend, all because Jay-Z allegedly didn't want 50 Cent involved. That's no longer petty disagreement energy. That's the kind of corporate chess move that could cost networks millions and have executives scrambling behind closed doors on the biggest night in American television. That's pressure. And 50 didn't stop there. In a Hollywood Reporter interview from July 2024, he laid it out in his own words, saying they wanted to leave me out of it. It was them fighting for me to stay out of it. It should be in the NFL paperwork now. Eminem is not performing. 50. That wasn't sarcasm. That was him spelling out how serious it got behind the scenes. Then, fast forward to October 2024, when 50 pulled up on the Breakfast Club and doubled down even harder. He said Jay blocked him outright, and that at first they tried to blame the NFL to dodge direct smoke. But 50 made it clear he peeped the play early and wasn't buying the cover story at all.
That's when the whole narrative started cracking and folks realized this situation ran way deeper than anyone wanted to admit.
Big homie wanted to look like a gay painter.
According to 50, his people in the industry told him exactly where that resistance was coming from. No guessing, no confusion. So the big question becomes, what would make one of hip-hop's biggest bosses allegedly try to block another artist from the Super Bowl payday? 50 says it himself. It all comes down to the Super Bowl bag and straight-up competition. And that competition stretches way past music now. This ain't about songs anymore. It's about who owns what and who's winning behind the scenes. 50 has been very clear about his theory. He believes his massive run in television, especially the Power franchise on Stars, turned him into a real threat. That show didn't just do numbers, it became a full-blown cultural moment. Ratings, spin-offs, global buzz, all of it. According to 50, that success positioned him as a direct competitor to Jay-Z's entertainment empire. Now it's not about who drops the hottest verse or sells the most records first week. It's about empires clashing. This is about market share, influence, and who gets to shape the future of hip-hop business. And here's the part 50 keeps stressing. When the controversy first popped off, the NFL took the public heat. They stood out front while Roc Nation stayed quiet. But 50 says he always knew where the call really came from. The corporate shield was up, the blame was redirected, and the deniability was locked in tight. Still, 50 wasn't buying it for a second. He says he knew exactly who was pulling the strings the whole time. What really turned this situation explosive is Jay-Z's silence. Not one public response, no interview, no statement, nothing. To fans watching from both sides, that silence spoke loud. Some people see it as Jay refusing to get dragged into drama. Others feel it looks like quiet confirmation that 50's accusations might be hitting a little too close to home. Either way, the conversation took off like wildfire across social media and hip-hop circles. Then things escalated even more. In September 2024, Cameron and Mace publicly speculated that Jay may have blocked Lil Wayne from performing at the 2025 Super Bowl due to old tension. That instantly drew comparisons to what 50 had already been saying. In the public eye, a pattern started forming. The idea that Jay might be using his corporate power to settle old scores and keep certain rivals off the biggest stages.
There ain't never been no 50 Cent Jay-Z conversations, questioning whether there was a competition between the two of them. There's a huge difference in energy internationally in 50 Cent and Jay-Z. In fact, his largest selling record sold 430-something thousand copies. My largest selling records, plural, 2 of them sold 5 million.
As expected, reactions online are split straight down the middle. Some fans are riding with 50, calling Jay a gatekeeper who abuses his position. Others defend Jay-Z, pointing out 50's long history of stirring controversy and saying this could just be another chapter in his non-stop trolling saga. Either way, the debate isn't slowing down, and the streets are still watching every move. The truth, like always, probably lives somewhere in that messy middle ground. Not fully one side, not fully the other. What can't be argued, though, is this. There have been 0 official statements from the NFL, Roc Nation, or Jay-Z confirming or denying 50 Cent's claims. Nothing on paper, nothing on camera, nothing direct. That silence has let 50's version of events take over the conversation, and to a lot of people watching closely, that quiet speaks loud. But to really understand why this runs so deep, why Jay-Z would allegedly go that far to keep 50 off the Super Bowl stage, you gotta rewind all the way back to the start. Every legendary hip-hop rivalry has an origin story, and this one didn't begin with boardrooms or billion-dollar deals. It started way earlier, before Curtis Jackson was a platinum artist, before vitamin water checks, before TV empires. Back in 1999, 50 was just a hungry rapper from Queens with a shaky record deal and around 40 recorded songs nobody seemed interested in pushing. No fame, no leverage, no safety net. And instead of playing it safe, he did something bold, reckless even. He dropped a song designed to shake the entire industry. Inspired by the notorious B.I.G.'s 1993 track Just Playin' Dreams, 50 flipped the concept into something way more aggressive, a robbery theme.
That track was How to Rob. In it, 50 imagined robbing nearly every big-name rapper and singer in the game. No fear, no filter, no mercy. And yes, Jay-Z was on that list. The line went, "Jigga just sold like 4 mil. He got something to live for. Don't want to put 4 through that Bentley coupe door." It was wild, disrespectful, and impossible to ignore. Exactly the kind of shock play an unknown rapper needed to force his name into the conversation. The song spread fast. White label vinyls hit the streets. DJs like Funkmaster Flex at Hot 97 ran it heavy, reportedly spinning it hundreds of times a week. Mixtapes carried it city to city. Overnight, everybody in hip-hop was talking about this fearless peer from Queens who name-dropped over 40 artists without blinking. Most of the people mentioned either laughed it off or kept it moving. But Jay-Z, he chose a different route. At Hot 97 Summer Jam in 1999, Jay-Z fired back with a freestyle that became legendary. He delivered the line, "I'm about $1. What is 50 cents?" Originally sharper, now often quoted in a cleaned-up version. The message was still clear crystal. Jay-Z positioned himself as real money, real value, while reducing 50 to spare change. It was slick, dismissive, and ice cold. That moment set the tone for everything to follow. Not just a diss, a power statement. And from that point on, the dynamic between Jay-Z and 50 Cent was locked in. Two very different paths, two massive egos, and a rivalry that would quietly simmer for decades, long before Super Bowls, boardrooms, and corporate control ever entered the picture.
A huge difference in who we are with each other internationally. Let them be fooled in America and think there's a competition there, because America could be purchased. We can buy it with marketing dollars. You see what I'm saying? But the rest of the world, there's not enough marketing dollars to go around to change the way the rest of the world feels about you.
That line didn't just disappear into thin air. Jay-Z doubled down on it. It later showed up on It's Hot, Some Like It Hot, from Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter, released in December 1999 and produced by Timbaland. Jay leaned all the way into that money talk, flexing his status with bars like, "Go against Jigga, your ass is dense. I'm about $1. What is 50 cent?" It was slick, calculated, and meant to put a full stop on the conversation. Jay was making it clear, in his mind, this kid from Queens wasn't even in the same financial or cultural bracket. But 50 wasn't the type to sit quietly and accept that. In 2000, he fired right back with "Be a Gentleman," a direct response where he questioned Jay-Z's street credibility and image. No dancing around it, no coded language. 50 mocked Jay's age, his persona, and his claims of being the face in New York. He basically said commercial success doesn't automatically equal real respect. To him, money didn't rewrite history, and platinum plaques didn't prove authenticity. The tone was raw, aggressive, and personal, exactly how 50 liked it. That back and forth was heating up fast, and it looked like things were headed towards something even uglier. But then fate stepped in, violently. On May 24, 2000, 50 Cent was shot 9 times outside his grandmother's house in Queens. A brutal attack that should have ended his life, but somehow didn't. He survived, but the industry turned its back on him almost immediately. Columbia Records dropped him. His debut album, Power of the Dollar, got shelved. And overnight, his momentum vanished. Just like that, the rivalry was put on ice, not because it was resolved, but because 50 was fighting just to stay alive. For the next 2 years, 50 Cent rebuilt himself from the ground up, healing, grinding, flooding the streets with mixtapes, sharpening his edge. Meanwhile, Jay-Z kept dominating the game, dropping a Blueprint in 2001 and solidifying his run. The beef faded into the background, not gone, just waiting. 2 different paths, 2 very different moments in time. Then everything flipped in 2002. 50 re-emerged with a new backing, Eminem and Dr. Dre. Signed to Shady Aftermath, he came back louder, stronger, and unstoppable. His debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, dropped in February 2003 and sold 872,000 copies in its first week alone, eventually going diamond. Records like In the Club and 21 Questions took over every radio station in America. The streets, the charts, the culture, all locked in. At that point, the question wasn't whether 50 was real, it was whether anyone could slow him down, and Jay-Z felt it. In a 2013 Breakfast Club interview, Jay admitted he warned his Rockefeller artists early, saying, "I'm telling you, man, y'all got a chance right now. Just flood it,
put out a lot of music because 50 Cent is coming. That wasn't hate, that was respect mixed with caution. What followed in 2003 was an uneasy truce. The two appeared together in a Reebok commercial, co-headlined the Rock the Mic tour, and even crossed creative paths. Jay rapped over 50's beats, while 50 proudly pushed his G-Unit sneakers, bragging they outsold Jay's Escada line 6-1. But don't get it twisted, beneath the smiles and business moves, the tension never fully left. 50 continued framing himself as the bigger global force, pointing to international numbers and sales that told a very different story. On the surface, things looked calm. Underneath, the rivalry was still breathing, just waiting for the next spark to set it off again. 50 Cent has also been unusually open about what he believes is Jay-Z's biggest weakness, and he doesn't sugarcoat it at all. According to 50, Jay avoids direct confrontation whenever possible. Instead of handling conflict face-to-face, 50 claims Jay has always put other people in front of him to do the dirty work. Managers, executives, systems, anything but stepping into the line of fire itself. That critique has been one of 50's favorite angles for years. And it doesn't stop there. 50's taken shots at Jay-Z's entire public image. He once labeled Jay the coolest punk in hip-hop, a phrase that sounds slick but cuts deep. The message was clear. Jay's polished, corporate-friendly persona might make him powerful in boardrooms, but in 50's eyes, that same smoothness weakens his street credibility. To 50, being too clean, too calm, and too calculated makes Jay approachable in a way that cost him respect where it originally mattered.
See,
The implication behind all this is loud. 50 sees Jay-Z as someone who plays defense through structure, hiding behind corporations, partnerships, and contracts, letting institutions absorb the hits while other people take the heat. Whether that's smart chess or a quiet flaw depends entirely on who you ask, but one thing is undeniable. Their rivalry stopped being about music a long time ago. By 2004, the battlefield had fully shifted to business. That's when 50 partnered with the makers of vitamin water, choosing equity over a simple endorsement check, a move that shocked the industry. When Coca-Cola acquired the company in 2007 for $4.1 billion, 50's stake reportedly earned them somewhere between $60 and $100 million after taxes, a legendary play that instantly made him a case study in ownership and leverage. Around that same time, Jay-Z made his own major move, selling the rights to his Rocawear clothing brand to Iconics Brand Group in 2007 for $204 million in cash. Both deals were massive wins, but 50 never missed a chance to frame his vitamin water payday as the smarter, more explosive decision. In his mind, it wasn't just about money, it was about seeing the play before everyone else did. The business shade kept going as both men built empires that started overlapping culturally. Then came 2007 and one of the most dramatic moments in hip-hop history. Kanye West's Graduation and 50 Cent's Curtis dropped on the same day, turning the release into a full-blown sales war. Kanye won decisively, moving roughly 957,000 units to 691,000 in the first week. 50 didn't take that loss quietly. He accused Jay-Z of pulling strings behind the scenes, allegedly using his Def Jam presidency to give Kanye every possible advantage. To 50, it fit the pattern perfectly. Jay winning battles without ever stepping onto the battlefield himself, always playing chess, never getting his hands dirty. But in recent years, 50 has hinted there's an even deeper layer to this rivalry, one that doesn't just involve music or money, but Jay-Z's most important personal relationship and what 50 calls the Grammy theory. And that angle, that's where things start getting really personal. If you thought the Super Bowl accusations were wild, this next part cranks everything up another level, because 50 Cent didn't stop at stages or boardrooms. He went straight for Jay-Z's Grammy legacy. In multiple interviews throughout 2023 and 2024, 50 pushed a theory that had the internet buzzing and Jay's supporters heated. He suggested that Jay-Z's massive Grammy success, 25 wins, the most for any rapper ever, isn't just about the music, but heavily tied to his marriage to Beyoncé. That claim alone had timelines splitting in half. Now, to keep it fair and accurate, Jay-Z actually had 4 Grammy wins before his first collaborations with Beyoncé, not one like 50 has sometimes said. But here's where 50's argument gains traction. Out of Jay's total 25 Grammy wins, 21 came after 2004, right around the time his partnership with Beyoncé became central to his image and brand.
That timing is fueled non-stop debate, with fans pulling stats and arguing intent like it's a courtroom. 50 connects this pattern to what he sees as Jay-Z's carefully calculated image shift. In his eyes, Jay went from gritty rapper to polished mogul, family man, and cultural icon, a transformation that played perfectly with institutions like the Recording Academy. This fits into 50's long-running critique of the Grammys as a system that rewards image and relationships over raw authenticity. He constantly points to Tupac Shakur, a cultural giant who never won a Grammy, as proof that the system doesn't always honor impact or truth.
He's the coolest punk in hip-hop. His presentation makes people decide to say,
oh man,
you know, because he's big, and his take on it is bigger than the actual art form. He won't actually compete.
And yeah, 50 has 3 Grammys himself, which some say explains his skepticism, but he insists this goes deeper than personal feelings. He positions himself as someone calling out an industry that, in his view, favors connections, branding, and safety over real edge. Whether people agree or not, his message lands because it taps into frustrations a lot of fans already feel. But nothing has raised eyebrows more than 50's ongoing fixation with Jay-Z and Jean-Michel Basquiat. 50 has openly accused Jay of modeling his entire look and aesthetic after Basquiat. The comment sounds wild at first, but it shows how far 50 is willing to go, attacking not just Jay's music, but his appearance, authenticity, business moves, and personal relationships. No angle is off limits. He even clowned Jay-Z's 4.44 album, calling it golf course music, basically saying it was elite, polished, and disconnected from the streets that made Hive famous. Add in non-stop memes about Jay aging fast, and it's clear 50 has turned criticism into a full-time sport. The irony in all this is impossible to ignore. 2 men who came from nothing, one from the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn, the other from the streets of Queens, both built billion-dollar empires through hustle and vision. By all logic, they should respect each other's grind. Instead, they've spent over 25 years locked in a Cold War that evolved from rap bars to business clashes to social media shots. And judging by how loud it's gotten lately, this story is far from over. Despite all the trolling, 50 Cent has stayed surprisingly consistent about how he sees this whole situation. He said more than once that he doesn't actually hate Jay-Z on a personal level. When they cross paths, things stay cordial, respectful, no fireworks. But where the line gets drawn is how Jay moves. 50 fundamentally disagrees with what he sees as Jay's way of operating, using corporate power to settle personal scores and keeping his hands clean while others take the heat. According to 50, Jay hides behind business structures to avoid direct confrontation. Contracts, executives, organizations, all acting like a shield. On top of that, 50 believes Jay carefully cultivates a safe public image that protects him from blowback when decisions get messy. And that right there is where 50 draws the biggest contrast. He likes his stage uncomfortable. He likes pressure. He likes knowing that if someone steps to him, the response is immediate and loud. No middlemen, no filters, no protection. That difference is everything. 50 has built his entire persona on being the opposite of what he thinks Jay represents. He's confrontational where Jay is calculated, public where Jay stays private, aggressive where Jay is diplomatic. It's 2 completely different philosophies on power, respect, and survival in hip-hop. And because of that, one thing feels locked in. This rivalry isn't ending anytime soon. As long as 50 has an Instagram account and Jay-Z has a corporate empire, the shots will keep coming. Some subtle, some loud, some wrapped in jokes, others wrapped in accusations, but every single one keeps hip-hop's longest-running Cold War alive and buzzing. No peace treaty in sight. What makes this moment especially gripping is how all the storylines collide at once. You've got the Super Bowl allegations raising questions about gatekeeping, the Grammy theory challenging the legitimacy of music's biggest awards, the claims that Jay is crafting a carefully curated image that doesn't reflect his roots, and at the center of it all, 2 self-made giants who came from nothing, now divided more by mindset than money.
You're saying the success is derived from the marriage.
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
50 moves through the world, chest out, fearless, posting through storms that would send most celebrities running straight to their PR teams. Jay-Z moves in silence, letting lawyers, deals, and corporations handle the heavy lifting, rarely responding, rarely explaining, rarely engaging. Two kings, two approaches, and a rivalry that keeps evolving without ever cooling off. And that right there brings us to the uncomfortable question nobody in the industry really wants to answer. If 50 Cent's allegations are even partially true, what does that say about who really controls hip-hop's biggest moments? Because when power shifts from the streets to the boardroom, the rules change fast. It's no longer about bars, crowds, or cultural impact. It's about access, relationships, and who's allowed through the gate. And that's exactly the system 50 keeps calling out, loud and unapologetic. From his perspective, hip-hop wasn't built to be polite or filtered. It was built on confrontation, truth, and pressure. That's why 50 stays leaning forward, never backing down, never smoothing things over for comfort. He thrives in chaos, jokes through backlash, and treats controversy like fuel. Meanwhile, Jay-Z represents the other end of the evolution: calculated silence, strategic patience, and power that moves quietly but hits heavy. Two roads to the top, but only one can control the traffic. And let's be real, this clash isn't just personal anymore, it's philosophical. 50 believes respect is earned in public with consequences attached. Jay believes power is best exercised behind the scenes without fingerprints. Neither approach is accidental, and neither man stumbled into his position. They chose their lanes early and doubled down every step of the way. What makes fans so locked into this saga is that both narratives feel believable. 50's raw honesty connects with people who distrust institutions. Jay's silence appeals to those who see restraint as strength. That split is why every new comment, meme, or interview instantly reignites the debate. It's not just about them, it's about what hip-hop should be as it grows older and richer. And make no mistake, this isn't the final chapter. As long as power exists, someone will challenge how it's used. As long as legacy matters, someone will question how it's earned. Whether through posts, interviews, or subtle moves behind closed doors, this tension stays alive. Hip-hop's Cold War keeps burning. No ceasefire, no cleanup, just pressure building with every move. They represent two completely different ways to hold power: the gladiator versus the emperor, the street corner versus the boardroom, the comment section versus the contract clause. And maybe the most telling part of this entire saga is that after everything, the diss tracks, the sales wars, the business flexing, the social media trolling, the Super Bowl allegations, neither man has ever truly taken the other out. They're both still standing tall at the top of their own empires. Both 50 Cent and Jay-Z have reached heights their younger selves couldn't have even imagined. Billion-dollar moves, cultural influence, global recognition. And whether they'd ever admit it out loud or not, they've pushed each other to evolve, to get sharper, tougher, more strategic. That's what happens when a rivalry lasts a quarter century. It stops being about hate and starts being about definition. Each man defines himself, at least in part, in opposition to the other. Their legacies are permanently linked in the story of hip-hop's corporate era. So, the next time you see 50 post another meme clowning Jay-Z, or you hear fresh whispers about blocked opportunities and behind-the-scenes power plays, remember, you're not just watching petty beef. You're watching two kings fighting for the same throne with weapons that didn't even exist when they first picked up a mic. Boardrooms replaced street corners, contracts replaced fists, and influence became the new currency. And if history has taught us anything, this story is nowhere near its final chapter. The shots will keep coming, the narratives will keep shifting, and hip-hop's longest-running Cold War will keep burning. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Hit Star Watch to stay locked in on all the latest deep dives, controversies, and power plays shaping the culture right now.